Welcome back folks, the CP Plus show in Yokohama just did take off today and we have many new lens announcements and a couple of prototypes and no real camera announcements this year, which is quite disappointing. But today I want to show you the first concept of a new waist level camera from Canon, also the first images of a new Sigma 85mm 1.2L and E mount, some other prototypes like the Samyang prototype lenses, and some other lens news that we just got today. So before we kick off, the usual reminder to first of all like this video to help me YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button to not miss any of the upcoming rumors. So let's address the two bad news of this show. First of all, we got no new camera at all from Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fujifilm, Panasonic, OM Digital, and so forth. So it seems like they all agreed to not announce a camera at the CP Plus shows, one of the biggest events of the year. Every company now prefers to announce their big gear outside of those shows. You get all the headlines and price that you want. I collected some images that have been posted by DC Watch, by some on X like Fuku Azobi Web. I will link the sources of those images down in the description box. So let's kick off with the first big news, which is actually a new prototype shown by Canon. It's a waist level camera and you can see the images here. This is a prototype. Canon still doesn't know if they will make this camera or not, or they will make a different kind of camera, but the goal here is to gather some information and feedback from the crowd and see if such a model would make sense. What you see here is a 6 megapixel camera, and basically there is no direct imaging going through the sensor. There's actually a mirror that reflects the image to a glass, and then basically the sensor takes an image of that image on the glass. Basically the idea is to create a more analog kind of feeling on the images. Of course, this is only a 6 megapixel camera, so it's not that you really get the sense of the quality that would be possible with such a model. The concept here is to give you an analog feeling when using the camera and also an analog feeling in the images that the camera creates. Canon is the only one creating some kind of interest at the CP Plus show. Now, moving on, the only good new thing Sony did announce, by the way, is a keychain. You can see the images here, so that's what Sony announced today. If you want a keychain showing the 51-50mm 2.0 GM lens, for example, then you can get it there if you are there. So, boring. Now, back to some exciting stuff. Sigma did finally announced the development of the 85mm 1.2 full-frame autofocus lens for the Sony E and Leica L-mount cameras on the market in September, so you still have to wait a long time. The cool thing about this news is actually that it kills a very long myth that was going around the web. You know, those conspiracies saying that it wouldn't be possible to make an 85 1.2 fast lens for the Sony E-mount system because the diameter of the E-mount is too narrow. This was a myth created by someone, I think 10 years ago, and it still came back in the comments all the time. This lens proves that it's all BS, and indeed we are getting an 85 1.2 also for the Sony E-mount system, so there is no problem with the E-mount at all. And here's an image of the Sigma 28-105mm T3L E-mount cine lens, which is also coming for the L-mount. Moving on to the curious bigger news regarding Samyang. First, let's kick off with the official lenses that you will be able soon to pre-order. They are displaying the new 60-180mm 2.8 full-frame E-mount lens and also the 14-24mm 2.8 L-mount lens. So those lenses are coming for real. There's still no pre-order option yet, should be up in a couple of days. They also, behind closed doors, did show the mock-ups that I teased you last week. 3D printed mock-ups of lenses Samyang doesn't know if they should make or not. They did show them to a German YouTuber named Value Tech, so credit to him for having the chance to show those images. You can see them here. You see the 20-50mm 2.0, the 28-85mm 2.0 2.8, and also the 200mm 1.8 and the 300mm 4.0. The size of the lenses you see here is the real size that the lens would have if they really would make those lenses. Samyang is trying to gather feedback, just like Canon with the waist level camera, and see what lens would make sense for the customers, so they still know if they will make any of those lenses, all of them. Depends. In my opinion, they should really do the 20-50mm 2.0 full frame E-mount lens. They would kick off with E-mount, but those lenses would be later eventually also be available for L-mount. So if you're an L-mount shooter, you should also be interested in those lenses and give them a feedback too. Please do those lenses. The 20-50 2.0 makes absolutely sense to me. 28, 85mm 2.8, 2.0, 2.8, I don't know. Also 200mm 1.8, we have an excellent Sigma 200mm 2.0. Don't know if you need that. Less than 1/3 stop at more. I don't know, but let me know. Did post a poll on sonyalpha where people can vote which kind of lens they would like to get from Samyang, so you can vote there and let Samyang know what you think about those lenses, and hopefully then they will also make the lenses you want them to make. Some minor news about other lenses. We got the first images of the Case 150mm 5.6 reflex lens that is coming for the EZ, EF and RF mount. This is an autofocus lens for all mounts except RF, where they don't have the license, so that's why you have an EF mount version with autofocus, and then you use an adapter and you have autofocus on your RF mount camera, but you can also have the manual version only. And what's special with this lens, this is a reflex lens, so it uses a different design, which has some limitations, but the advantage here is that it's super compact and lightweight for a 150mm lens. So if you need a 150mm lens, it's super compact. This might be something interesting for you. Viltox also is teasing the launch of a new 35mm 1.8 Apo lens, so this would be an upgrade to the existing 35mm lens they already have on sale on Amazon. This would be superior in terms of image quality because of the Apo design. Then Brighton Star also teased the launch of a new 50mm 3-side lens that has 3 different options for the bouquet, so you can choose different bouquet styles. We don't have any info about when exactly this will hit the market and what the pricing will be. And 7 Artisans is also teasing the launch of the 135 1.8 lens for the Sony E and Nikon Z mount. The good news, folks, I told you many times in my past videos, is we know for a fact that, for example, Sony will announce the 100-400 GM 4.0, the 100-400G variable aperture, the 16-28 2.0 GM. Those lenses are coming before summer for sure. Last year Sony did announce the 51-50mm 2.0 in April, so I'm pretty certain the 16-28 2.0 GM will also be announced, for example, in April. Sony did also register a new camera, which I do believe is the FX32, also likely to be announced in April. Panasonic did register 2 new cameras, so they are coming before summer. And same for Canon, Nikon, Fujifilm is having an event in early March where they're displaying some prototypes, but they will have some product announcement event also later. So if you are disappointed that you didn't get new big gear at the CP Plus show, just keep in mind that's how the companies now think, that it's better to announce the gear well before or well ahead of such shows, and just to create more buzz and headlights and spotlight and interest. So don't worry, the big stuff is now coming probably between late March. Starting from late March, we are getting some new major announcement, and as soon as I have final confirmation of those dates, when Sony, Canon, Nikon, Panasonic, so forth will have new product announcement event, I will make a new video. So definitely, again, subscribe to the channel to not miss those kind of videos. By the way, if you are at the CP Plus show and you have some interesting news or discussion with managers and you want to share what you found out, you can contact me using this email address and contact form. Also, if you have rumors about the upcoming announcement in late March, April, May, and so forth, you can send me info there. It's much appreciated. Okay, folks, that's more or less it from the CP Plus show. If you still want to read more news, again, check out my websites. For the rest, I see you very soon, folks.